Hi and good evening, and I know you can't see me because it's dark, but that's all right. My beard's turning too white anyway, so here we are. It's Monday, the 1st of February, and we are still dealing with the situation in America of government intrusion, government bureaucracy, government overstepping its authority and boundaries set forth by the Constitution. And, I'm still just as angry and frustrated as ever, and especially considering as I contrast the events that occurred in Baltimore and Ferguson with the events that occurred in Burns, Oregon. The people in Burns didn't stop traffic. They didn't destroy buildings. They didn't tear up cars. They weren't jumping on people's property and destroying it. They weren't setting fires. They weren't a threat to anyone. Yet they're being called domestic terrorists and all kinds of other vile names. And yet these people are 100% constitutionally correct, in contrast with what happened in Baltimore and Ferguson. And we have this whole white privilege thing out there. And I'm thinking, well, if this is what white privilege looks like, then something's screwy, because they certainly didn't shoot anybody in Baltimore. The FBI didn't ambush people in Baltimore. The FBI didn't ambush people in Ferguson like they did here in Burns. And they were simply going to a peaceful meeting with another sheriff and another group of ranchers. But this is just all wrong. This is just backwards. There's nothing right about it at all. There's a verse in the Bible that talks about calling good evil and evil good, and that's actually, we're seeing that today, where people that are doing what's right is being called wrong, and the things that people are doing wrong is being called right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's backwards. And until we get back to a standard of high morals, of right and wrong, and their determinant, written in stone, if you will, that right is right and wrong is wrong, no matter what. And we don't try to make excuses or to let people off the hook. This white privilege. What kind of crap is that anyway? We're the only nation out of the entire earth that even has this garbage. Are you kidding me? There's no other nation on the earth that's having this type of an issue. Why is that? Why is it America? Well, I have to tell you, it's because we are the last of the real free states, and we're not even free anymore. And we haven't been free for over 100 years. Not really. I think about, when the federal government outlawed silver and gold, 1933, they stole the silver and gold from the American people, and the American people did nothing. And then they waged a tax where they started stealing your currency out of your labor. You trade your labor for currency in order to make a living, and the government stole a portion of it, and the people did nothing. They imposed a tax on your property based on nothing, just pulled it out of the air. And in this nation, according to our Constitution, we have the right to own property. Well, if you're paying a tax to live on your property, you don't own it. Because what happens if you don't pay your tax? They come and get it. So you don't own it. But the people did nothing. They started infringing upon the right of speech, and the people did nothing. They infringed on the right to carry guns by passing this law and that law and this regulation and that regulation, and the people did nothing. See, the problem the problem is the people have done nothing. And now we're so deep in the hole, so deep in the abyss, the people are trying to figure a way out. And we don't have a real leader per se. And I'm not even sure that we need leaders are great, but the way things are really written, we're to be sovereign citizens. You are your own leader. Would it be nice to just have perhaps, a committee that's appointed by a community, and they all just kind of act as one in order to accomplish goals that are necessary? Yeah, but here's the thing. Until the people act as one, and until we have a call to action, and I think now's a great opportunity for local communities to go to their county courthouse, go to the federal courthouse, and hold protests in light of what is happening in Burns, Oregon. We need to get the attention of our judicial system and tell them that they need to abide by the very Constitution that they swore an oath to protect and defend. Because Article 6 of the Constitution is clear that these people, all judges, are bound by the Constitution, and yet they try to find loopholes and stuff, which there are no loopholes in the Constitution. It's written in black and white. Trying to skate around the Constitution is not possible. If your so-called loopholes is simply breaking their oath to do what they said they would do. So, excuse me. So, at the end of the day, we need to come up with a nationwide rally of protesting First Amendment right and presenting grievances and redress. And maybe we need to come up with one document of what we expect, and not list 100 things, but maybe 10 things or so, and make them generic, and not necessarily specific to specific cases. But if you make it specific enough that it involves specific cases, like in Burns, where these guys would have to be released without any charges because they've not committed a crime. Again, Black's Law Dictionary is clear about the definition of a crime, and there has to be a victim. In Burns, there is no victim. Listen, a person who is accused of a crime has the constitutional right to face his accuser. Well, who is the accuser? It can't be the FBI, because What did they do against the FBI? What harm has been done there? Where is the loss? Where is the damage? There is none. Anyway, I'm kind of losing my voice here, and I'm going to close this out. But at the end of the day, Patriots, we need to stand strong. We need to stand tall. We need to stand up for what is right. Because the only thing it takes for evil to continue to exist and do what it is doing is for good men to do nothing. All right, have a good night and be safe.